Wow.
Yeah, our boys. See, we own you now. This is it. You have to
Man,
stay.
you can have us.
All right.
Nice.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome, Pat. Lovely to see you again.
Thanks. Great to see you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Nice to see you back in Toronto.
Thanks, you as
And
well.
who is this handsome young man to your left?
This is Jerry Becker.
Hi,
who,
Jerry.
Hi, how
you
are
call
you?
him Jerry Gibb.
Yes, because he's been having fun at the tables at Niagara Falls View, and he's been playing with a little attitude. So I just said, tell them you're Barry Gibb's son, and away you go. And he's winning, too.
Yeah.
Winning.
He's cleaning you out in Canada.
Yeah, but here's the trick. It's only Canadian dollars.
It's
What?
it-
Wait, what?
Hey, what?
You know what he said yesterday is you have to, differently than in the United States, you pay for your own drinks here in the Canadian casinos.
Yes, we do.
And so a woman came and brought drinks and said, "That's $15.50," and he said, "I spend millions of dollars here." I think he spent like $60.
Really, huh?
That's $1 million for me.
Yeah. What else is different when you come to Canada? Is there a difference, or is it just another crowd of really happy train fans?
I think there's a lot of differences, but they're all positive, like really lovely people. And, your economy is incredible. And so everybody's attitude is very positive. Overlooking Niagara Falls is, unbelievable. So every time we come to Canada, it's hard to leave, actually.
And we're so glad to have you here. And you've got
because we are trying to bring drugs back.
Oh, yeah, well,
so
you know.
it's literally
Really
hard to
tough,
leave.
yeah.
We've got plenty of our own. You've seen the news. It's quite all right. It's quite all right. So the new single, Angel in Blue Jeans, where was it shot? Was the video was shot? It looks like Southern California. Where was it?
Yeah, it was Southern California, in the desert, about an hour and a half outside of Los Angeles. We actually did the photo shoot. Did we do a video? Oh, we did our photo shoot for the last album. The California 37 was shot in the same location, and it was just such an amazing location. We decided to go back.
It's amazing. The song is great. It's got a little hint of Ennio Morricone in it. There's that little bit of good, bad, and ugly in there.
Right.
Do you play the bad guy in the video, Pat?
Yeah, it's interesting. I play a really good bad guy. When my wife watches the video, she's like, "I don't like this video because you're the bad guy," and that's what everybody likes best.
She
about
talks
it.
like Waylon Smithers.
She does
A little bit?
Well, I'm actually married to Waylon Smithers.
Are you?
Yeah.
There's an exclusive.
And
Okay.
speaking of good, bad, and the ugly, the gun that Pat uses in that video was Clint Eastwood's original gun on
Dirty Harry.
Dirty Harry.
No way. Wow. And how did Danny Trejo come to be in the video?
Our director, his name is Brendan Walter, and he had the idea to get both Danny and Hannah, and they kind of look like I think this video is so cool because they look so good. They're like the heart of the earth, they both look incredible and they do a great job. We were on this site for like 15 hours in the heat. Neither one of them ever complained or even asked for water. It was crazy how pro they are.
However, on the other hand, the poker
Jerry,
player down
it
at the
was
end,
horrible.
Jerry.
It was very difficult.
Jerry, very demanding, said he'd
I had
spent
a
$1 million.
sauna.
I had to follow him around with an umbrella all day.
Honestly, so demanding. And of course, you play the poker player. Jimmy is very good as a poker player in this. But to the music, you're telling a great story with this song. And for people who aren't yet familiar with Angel in Blue Jeans, what's the story behind it?
It's really a story. I wrote it in a much slower tempo, and it was kind of like my attempt at a Neil Young song. It was kind of like waking up. I write from dreams a lot, and it was like waking up in a dream state. Like I just had this dream that I was chasing this woman who was maybe dangerous, and then I woke up with her, and it ended up that it was all a dream, and so that's what the song was about.
Okay, you have a crazy busy travel schedule, and you're just managing. How are you managing to keep your heads together between now and September when the album comes out? You've got a whole lot of performances, including in the UK. How do you manage, Jimmy? I'll ask you this one. Do you just put your head down and say, "Where's the next city," or what do you do?
Actually, it's not as bad this summer because we're just starting the album cycle. So we're going out for 5 days each week, but we get to go home for a day or two and see our families, which is unusual. We haven't done it that way in the past. But it's going to get busier after September when the album comes out and we start touring more heavily.
Is this unusual to have the single and then wait a heartbeat, a few months, and then
We've
then the
never
album?
done it, and I've always wanted to do it that way. I've always wanted to wait like 2 or 3 songs into a record before we would go tour, because I think it takes time. There's so much music to like become or not become a part of your life that is released every day or every week. There's thousands of new songs and YouTube videos and everything else, and it gives people a chance to either care or not care. And so I love like coming out for a few days and then going home for a few days. It's very different than we usually do it, but I think it gives people a chance to really get to know the song, and then eventually the album. And then next summer, we'll come into Toronto and play the Molson Amphitheater and all of the areas around here, and get into Vancouver and everything, and do a proper Canadian run, which I think is what we always look forward to.
Well, so are we. And it struck me as a little curious because a casino audience is a smaller one, and it's a different vibe, isn't it? Because you've got people there who maybe don't know all your songs and are singing your words back to you like you would in a particular, like in a typical train concert. It's different for you guys, isn't it?
It is a little odd, and sometimes the casinos, like, they'll save the first few rows for like the high rollers and stuff, and their comp tickets, and they're not necessarily train fans. We actually had a guy where we were in a casino in Michigan last week, and there was this older fella in the front row that was nodding off during our show, while all around him, all the teenage girls and everybody were going nuts. It was the most interesting thing. It was funny, but also kind of maddening.
But you met him afterwards.
Oh yeah, we met.
And he loved the show.
Yeah. Amazing show. I dreamt it was amazing.
That's right.
I told everybody at the casino yesterday how it came about was that they know that we like to gamble pretty heavy, so they knew that they would basically get a free show.
Oh, there you go.
Hand us the check, we give it to the guy at the roulette table, and it's a wash.
Oh, there. Okay. So you talked about writing in your dreams, and do you have a method whereby you wake up and you've got your iPad there, or a pen and a pad of paper? Is there a formula for it?
I don't think so. I there's a guy named Ryan Tedder who he has some formulas, because that guy is unstoppable. But I just think there's no formula if you want to write from a sincere place where where you're making music that may make people's lives enhanced a little bit. Mm-hmm. There are a few people like Ryan out there that can just really write amazing songs, and everybody knows them, and I'm never going to be like that. Like, I've tried to write songs for and with other people that are just, they don't like, what is that? And then it's like, that's called drive-by. And then they're like, that's crap. That's what that is.
That's a great song. It's so much fun.
But it wouldn't work for somebody else.
Yeah. Okay. So if we go back to a song like Drive-By or Hey Soul Sister or any of the myriad hits that we play here on CHFI and any of our stations across the country, does that loom over you? Does that say, I want to write another one of those? It would be great to have that connection. That huge success?
The goal actually on this record was to do the opposite of that, because my manager said something really funny. It was because I was like, hey, I think it's time for us to write a record that might really, I need to write something that has some substance, some drops of Jupiter. I need to get to that. That's hard to do, It's easier to write a fun, upbeat song that's like, hey, here you go, I love you, hey. And
that sounds pretty good, man.
I recorded that earlier.
Oh, okay.
And so Drops of Jupiter is so hard to do that I think there are those moments on this new record that it was a grueling process to get to it. But the goal was, hey, let's not shoot for radio. Let's shoot for the heart.
And if you're lucky.
And maybe you get both, right?
Yeah, exactly. I have to tell you, this is a little self-indulgent, but you wrote a song on California 37, which made me go to California and experience the state because I had to see the place. But secondly, it was Sing Together. And we had a memorial for my mother and put that song to a whole montage of her life last year. And then in the church, when you sang Sing Together, everybody sang together, and it was that meant so much to me, and I'm sure that there are songs like "Marry Me," other songs that you've written and you guys have recorded that have touched people in those ways. And I hope you know that that's what your music has done.
Wow, that is so moving. Thank you for that. When I wrote that song with some friends, I was like, I want to call this my funeral song, because what greater gift can you do than bring all these strangers that weren't strangers to you together so they could all be friends, and your mom was able to do that. That's a great gift she gave all of you, and wow, that you recognized that. It was really unbelievable. Thank you.
Thank you. That's that whole California 37, and we have great hopes for Bulletproof Picasso. Okay, where'd the name come from?
It's what Jimmy's wife calls him. Yep, he's unstoppable. He's a master in the romance department.
He's a work of art. Let's be
He's
serious.
a work of art.
Look at that guy.
Not a piece of work, but a work of art.
That's right.
Okay.
I'm not even going to get involved in this
Yeah,
conversation.
you can't win. You are so outnumbered here, Jimmy. Is there a significance to it, or it's just something that came to you and said, "Hey, that's catchy"?
It's a line. There's a song called "Bulletproof Picasso." There's a line in it that is, it's a kind of a Born to Run type of song. Are you a bulletproof Picasso? Like are you something that is more than human? And then I realized later that there's something very bulletproof Picasso about Train. We've been artists for however many years, and for whatever reason we're still here dodging bullets, and I don't know why, but we've been able to last. So the significance ended up being that without really knowing while writing that it was representing us. So it felt right for the album cover, or
And
the
you
album title.
You continue to change and to grow too, changing members, moving forward. Is there the same? Where is your music going now?
To pot.
It's hard to tell.
Country, I hear, CMT.
Yeah,
you guys are getting
they
played
added
on
the video.
CMT
It's
now
crazy,
with
yeah.
Angel and Blue Jeans. That's exciting.
They played Bruises off the last album too, which was really great. Yeah. I told Pat recently that I think he might have screwed himself with this record, because it's in my opinion it's our best collection of songs that we've put on an album, and it's going to be a tough one to top. So this might be it. This might be our last.
Oh, okay. Champagne Problems, right? Yeah. If it's the best you've ever done.
Top shelf.
All right.
Jerry's like, dude, I just quit my job at Microsoft. You can't. No.
I got laid off, you mean? Just happened this week.
Were you with Microsoft? You weren't.
No.
18,000.
It's actually pronounced Microsoft.
I think it's fascinating that your drummer left law, a successful law career now, Drew, to join the band. Yeah. His parents must have been devastated.
They weren't. He's an amazing jazz drummer.
Yeah.
And he was practicing law for the last 3 years in New York, and when we called him, we were like, "Hey man, you ready to get to the real business?" And he was like, "Man, I've been waiting for this call for a long time." And then he called his dad, and his dad was like, "High five."
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Big
awesome.
supporters, yeah.
Oh,
They'd
good.
rather him
He can always
play
go
music.
back to, he can be our attorney.
Well, yeah. He's into acquisitions, though. What do you want to acquire, Jimmy? Well, listen, you guys, we are so looking forward to the album in September when it drops. And I do hope that what you say, Jimmy, is true. And this is going to be your Everest and then beyond from there.
Well, thanks. It's not really, we've decided, or maybe discovered, I should say, that it's not really even album sales that make it the best. It's really, if fans of Train say this is your best work, then we did it. It's not really about anything else, but I think that maybe they will, but we'll find out in September.
We sure will. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Break a leg.